The Connecticut Museum of Culture and History in Hartford is celebrating its 200th anniversary. It is one of the oldest historical societies in the country, first established in 1825 as the Connecticut Historical Society. A lot has happened over 2 centuries. To talk about some of it is my guest, Eileen Frank, Deputy Executive Director and Chief Strategy Officer of the Connecticut Museum of Culture and History. Eileen, hi, how are you?
I'm great, and thank you for having me on your show.
You bet. All right, so a lot has happened in 200 years. You've started to celebrate, and you're going to do that all year long. What are some of the highlights of what is going on?
Yeah, so we kicked off this bicentennial year for us in January. We had a really great launch event and announced several of our big signature programs that we're doing. So on May 22nd, we have an exhibition that's opening about the history of the museum, and we're making it really interactive and lively for our visitors to sort of explore why do history museums
for young and old,
matter.
right?
For young and old. We always incorporate young and old into our exhibitions. So we're really looking forward to that May 22nd exhibition opening. For our really young visitors, we have tremendous staff, and they have written a new children's book called The Key to Adventure, where a character named Prudence is going to enter this adventure through objects in the collection at the museum. So we launched that children's book on June 28th, and we've partnered with Cardi, which is this mobile art bus that will visit 10+ towns across Connecticut over the summer, where the bus will be turned into elements of the book, and families can come, interact with the book, get a free copy of the book, and just explore what it means to be imaginative and appreciate history.
How fabulous is that? All right, highlights of our history. Give me a few.
I think that for a lot of people, when they think about Connecticut history, they do think about the colonial era. And absolutely, we had tremendous people who were involved in Thomas Hooker, who came to Hartford in the early 1630s. His early sermons are considered to be the foundation of what is our Constitution. So we have tremendous activity involved in our American history, our nation's history, as well as our state. But I think also in Connecticut, what's really amazing is all of the innovation that has happened, whether it's the precision manufacturing that people think of like with Colt, or with the clock manufacturing that happened in our state, all of the air technology, aerospace and defense technology, what's happening with electric boat down in Groton. We have a really tremendous history of innovation and being able to manufacture goods.
A small state, but a lot is going on.
Exactly, and with that innovation also comes real diversity, and so the cultures that exist here in the communities, and that's something that at the museum we really celebrate, whether it's through our apprenticeship program or whether we highlight, for instance, we just did a big program celebrating Lunar New Year. We have an annual Day of the Dead event. So we really try to elevate all of the various ethnic and cultural communities that exist in our small state.
When we walk in the door of the museum, what do we see, and how often do you change your exhibits?
Yeah, so we have 2 galleries that change, and they change once to twice a year. So we have an amazing exhibition right now on coffee, which most people are like, why is there an exhibit on coffee in Connecticut? But what we did is focus on how coffee is a part of community. It's where people gather and come up with ideas for businesses. It's where people actually preserve their traditions. So we have a lot of different cultures represented, talking about whether it was a Greek tradition of coffee, or a German or a Somali tradition of coffee and community. So it's a really fabulous exhibition that runs all through this year. So that's something that you can see. And if you come before May 22nd, in the gallery where our 200th anniversary exhibition will be, right now there's an exhibition about the Wide Awakes, which is this lesser known group of young men who advocated for Abraham Lincoln and are really considered essential to having Lincoln win the presidency. And they were founded right here in Connecticut, and they became this national youth movement in politics. It's a fascinating story.
I can hear the passion in your voice for history. It's so lovely. Eileen, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Ann.
I appreciate it. And if you'd like to know more about the 200th anniversary of the Connecticut Museum of Culture and History in Hartford, go to WTNH.com or the News 8 app.